And welcome. How are you guys doing? Back again for another great roll reveal. Looks like we don't have anybody in the chat right now, but that ought to change with time here. It is 5 o'clock. I'm ready to go. And this is roll reveal number 49. It's a 1955 San Francisco bank wrapped roll. Hey, Jeremy Levels, Coin Junkie, New Marshall, Bill Pickle, Hawkeye. Everybody's here. Everybody's ready. We got 50 names sitting here in our little pouch. Oh, I got to go get the flips for these. Hang on just a second. Okay, there we go. I've got 50 pre-numbered flips here ready to go. And I've got 50 names plus one extra right here. And this one extra right here is going to be for the person who gets the wrapper. The wrapper in this case is a dark red wrapper. It is a Portland branch of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco wrapper. And these are marked 1955S. Everything's all mixed up. Let's go ahead and start picking this wrapper apart and see what happens here. You can only see one end of the wrapper, and that end is relatively spot-free. Nice coin. Maximus Overstacker, Joe McBride, JLB, Coin Junkie, Coin Dragon, Raymond Lungy. Hope all you guys are having a great day. Linda Wallace. All right, here we go. We've got a wrapper open. This is a Satley Company roll from Detroit and New York, where they have offices. It is one of the darker Lincoln Cent rolls that I'm used to seeing. And there we go. There's all 50 coins. They're all nice uncirculated coins as it appears. Relatively mark-free, as I can see it so far. Let me go ahead and grab the first name out of the bag. See who gets the first coin. JOB gets the first one. Here's JOB's first coin. We do have, appears to be some mint mark doubling. Let me get these fibers off the coin, then I'll zoom in on it. There you go, got that muckety muck out of there so we can zoom in. It appears as though we have a nice RPM going on here. Let me zoom in on this. I did not check the end of the roll to see if there was an RPM, so this is a surprise to me. Let me get it moved over and get it in focus a little bit, and then we'll get some light on the subject so we can see it a little bit better. There we go. There you go, Coin Junkie. You got yourself a nice RPM, didn't you? I remember those. Well, that's a nice one there. Not sure which RPM that is. If anybody wants to help out and attribute that one. It's a little closer to the 5 than it is to the 9. It's cute, that's for sure. It's a awesome start to a roll. The very first coin that we pull out of the roll is a nice RPM. Let's see what I've got here. It could be, well, no, it's not RPM number 2, because this one appears to be an S over S West. It could be RPM 2, I guess. Some chance of it, I guess. It looks more like it's RPM number 3, though. No, it could be RPM 2. No, I don't think it's RPM 2. Hard telling right now, but we can tell for sure at some point in the near future. when I go back through this roll another time, we'll see more of these probably as we get through the roll. Let me flip it over and take a look at the other side. Hello, Mr. Hampton. 4, it looks like. Yeah, it could be. Yeah, could be 4. You're right. Could be number 4. Let me see if I can find any markers for 4 that should have a die scratch between the D and the S of United States. Kinda. Not quite what I'm expecting, though. Looks like it wears out in layered die states. Check down here and see if there's any breakage going on. Doesn't look like there's any breakage over here. What else do we have? The M of unum should have a die gouge. And I don't see the die gouges. This is a later die state than that. The E of e pluribus unum should have a die gouge running through it, and does not. The top of the E of 1 should have a die crack running northwest. I don't really see that. I don't know, boys and girls. This may be number 4. It may not be. Not seeing anything in Liberty. Hey, penny parent. We got ourselves an RPM. It's the first coin in the roll, and we've got a nice RPM. I don't think it's number 4, though. I don't. I don't know. Hard telling. It could be. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyhow, JLB gets a nice RPM. That's coin number 1 in the roll. It's the end roll coin. Let me put this in a holder. Get it set off to the side as one of the coins of extra value in the roll. Get my pen out of the way here. There we go. Well, last roll we found virtually nothing, and this one we get off to a great start. Here we go. Taco John gets the next coin in the roll. Let's see what Taco John pulls out. That's just kind of weird. It's all kind of strange coming off of that RPM, or that mint mark. It doesn't look like an RPM. It's got lots of weird stuff around it, though. Heck of a die marker there. If there was anything to be marking this die for. Let me get this over here. I'm talking a little bit more directly into it. Okay. I don't really see anything on the obverse. Wow, look at that die scratch. There's some massive die scratches on this. We've got massive die scratches. There's no cleaning in coins, that's for sure. Penny parent, stop scrubbing coins. Right. Looks like we got nothing on this one. I'll flip it over and take a look at the reverse real quick. Reverses are not known that well for double dies in the 1955 S issue. In part because there weren't a whole lot of different dies used. This particular issue has a mintage of only 44.6 million coins. 44.6 million coins is about half that of 1954S, which was about half that of 1953S. So 1955S had about a quarter of the coins made as 1953S. This, along with like the 1950 D nickels, is one of the most hoarded coins of the 1950s, just because they thought that there were going to be so few of them and they were going to end up being a major key. It didn't quite turn out that way. The only real key known for this date at present is a nice repunch mint mark. It's RPM number 1. It's an S over S over S. It's positioned very high and has 2 curves up above the mint mark that make up the upper curves of 2 other mint marks. There's a heavy die scratch right there in the middle of the N and cent. Some other nice sized die scratches around on the reverse. Other than that, it appears that we've got nothing in particular other than an out of focus coin. There we go. A little better focus. All right, let me get this one in its holder. All right, next one. Wild Bill. Penny parent, I thought you had 2 kids. Make them do that stuff. This one appears to be the same die as coin number 2 in the roll. And coin number 2 proved to have nothing of great interest on it. See the notch at the bottom of the 1? That's normal. That would be what you'd be looking for a double die, but on 1955 it's normal. It's also normal to have doubling on the top of the B of Liberty. Would be... yeah, it doesn't show very well on this one. In fact, it doesn't really show at all on this one. So I have nothing there. Hey, Taco John. Did you miss it? Coin number 1 was yours, and it was an RPM. Coin number 1 went to Taco John, and it was a nice toned RPM coin. It is a coinspiracy. There are some serious gouges on this coin, what do you know? Oh, I don't want to take all the flavor of watching the show away from Taco John, so I'll go back and I'll show him his coin real quick. I haven't figured out the RPM yet, but this is a pretty nice RPM, and you've got some toning going on. There you go. You can see it in the upper part of the S. Nice split. Oh, that is... this one belongs to JOB. That's right. Sorry, Taco John. You got coin number 2 in the roll, and it wasn't anything, so you didn't miss anything yet. This is JOB's coin. Sorry about that. Hello, Majestic. Oh, Majestic, I meant to tell you, I'm not sure whether I've told you yet, my wife doesn't go to coin shows with me. So while she appreciates the invite to dinner, she's not going to be there. I will have a partner with me, though. Would be a business associate partner. I'm not sure whether I even told you about that yet, but I remember, after seeing your name, I remember you having invited my wife to dinner, and she won't be around. This is kind of neat. A pretty nice 1955 S Lincoln there. Kind of a little bit of a gouge out in front of the nose. Well, Taco John, I think you've got other coins in the roll. Maybe we'll find a good one for you. You don't want that dirty old RPM anyway. We'll find something else for you, brother. All right, JLB's next coin, coin number 5, has nothing on it that we can see. Let's move on to the next coin. Let's take a look at, well, what do you know? Taco John's name comes up. If this is an RPM, I'm going to laugh. Doesn't look like it. Does not appear to be an RPM. That is kind of funny, though. It is Taco John's coin. Looks like I got a little die break starting on the corner of the E of Liberty. Take a look at the reverse and see what's going on here. Yeah, got a nice little die break starting on the corner of the T of cent. A nice little die break on the greens of the leaf on the left wheat, right outside the U of Unum. That's about it. Pretty coin. As for Taco John, that's coin number 6 in the roll. Moving right along to coin number 7. Wild Bill, yes. Not all of them, but I have shipped a number of the dimes. They're not all gone, just most of them. I'll ship the rest of them tomorrow. What do we have here? That looks like an RPM 2 right there. That looks like an RPM number 2. I believe it's an RPM number 2. Zoom in on this one, take a good look at it. There you go. And definitely an RPM. And I am believing number 2. And bring it around so that it's in good focus for everybody. You can see that. Cut the light down a little bit to knock the glare off. '36th anniversary today. Wow, that's amazing. Happy anniversary. You tell the wife I said that now. Don't let her think I don't care. So there we go. We have likely an RPM number 2 for Mr. Worley as coin number 7. So it looks like we could be getting RPM 2 and 4 out of this roll so far. Next one's for Joe McBride. Let's see what Joe ends up with. There's another RPM 2, it appears. Yeah. Let's pick a marker off of this so we can be sure that we've got all the same die going together. Let's see here. What kind of a marker can I pick? We had that die crack running off the B of Liberty. They got a little hump down below the T of Liberty. So they got a couple of little markers, but they're all over by Liberty. See if I can find anything near the date that would make a good usable marker. In later die states of this die, if this is number 2, the 5s begin to fill in because they chip out. But it doesn't look like there's much going on near the date on this one, so it's kind of hard to pick a marker out over there. So I'll just keep the markers near Liberty as my sole surviving markers on this particular stage of this die. We have nice little die scratches off the RI of pluribus. We've got a die scratch in the E of E pluribus. Actually, that'd be pronounced E pluribus, not E pluribus. But who's counting? So we got ourselves another RPM. I believe this is RPM number 2. It's going to be coin number 8. Maybe a little bit of a woody coin dragon. Not much. 55S was not very well known for producing woodies, but there are some. Is this an RPM? I believe it is an RPM number 2, but it has a hit on the left side of the mint mark. Let's see if we've got the same marker. Yep, we do. RPM 2, I do believe. RPM 2, I presume. Somebody look up RPM 2 and see what the markers are for RPM 2 in mid stage. Looks like mid to late die state. Trying to get BU Woodies for all of the 50s in your Dansko. Some of them are hard to find. I'll tell you that for sure. You think it could be number 3? RPM 2 has a die chip in the lower right wheat. I don't think there's anything on the lower right wheat on these, but I'll check next time we hit one. Let's see. Let's look over here. Nope. Not the same die. We have a big die scratch on the T of Liberty. Let's see what we have going on the coin, the mint mark area, the date. See nothing. Nothing at all. So we know this die by a die scratch in the Y and a die scratch in the T of Liberty. There's your die scratch in the Y. It runs side to side. And the one in the T runs southwest. Okay, let's take a look at the reverse on this one. See if there's anything there. Not so much looking for double dies on the reverse because there's just none known. But that, I mean, that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be looking for them. It just means that we shouldn't be concentrating on it. The obverse is definitely what we're after on these for sure. If we happen to find something on the reverse, well, bonus. All right, Mr. Fletcher, you got yourself what I believe is a normal coin. And Chuck Patillo. Chuck Patillo gets the next coin in the roll. Well, what do we have here? Looks like a normal coin so far. Hello, Brian's World. Well, I don't see anything of special value on this coin. Let's move over to the reverse and see what we see over there. Turn the light down a little bit so we don't get blinded by it. Got a lot of light going on, which means one thing. Not that my light was turned up too bright. It means that there's a lot of luster on these coins. Really bright luster. Proof wheat rolls in future shows? I could. I don't happen to have any available right now. I probably won't be doing any proof wheat rolls anytime soon, but there is some likelihood that I'll draw out some proof coins and do some individual sales on proof coins. Mr. O'Neill. Mr. O'Neill. What does Mr. O'Neill get? That's a really closely punched mint mark, but it doesn't appear to be anything special other than very closely punched. To the 5 of the date. Take a look around here. Looks like I got nothing going on. This little die chip next to the E. They're pretty nice coins. They're not, I don't think they're especially high end. They're decent gems. 1955S was known for not coming out in the best quality. And that's because it was 1955. Nobody really knows why, but 1955 Lincoln cents are known to be pretty low quality. And 1955S by very far has the lowest mintage. 1955D and Philadelphia both have well over 100 million minted. And 55S was pretty low at only 44.6 million. Most of the reason for that is because the San Francisco Mint was shut down on the 24th of March, 1955, and they stopped producing Lincoln cents on the 24th of March that year. So they didn't have anywhere near as much time as the other two mints did to produce their coins. This one appears to be that first RPM that came out of the roll, and it is. You can see the split on the upper curve. This is a S over S West. You can see it much better right there. Yeah, they started minting coins in San Francisco again in the mid-60s, but they did not place mint marks on them until 1966. It is believed that the San Francisco Mint assisted in the minting of the overage of coins in 1964, 65, and 66. In 1967, it was 65 through 67. It was known that all three mints minted Lincoln cents. However, they were not marked as such. All of them are mint markless. 1968 was when the mint marks returned to the coins. Another interesting thing about the San Francisco Mint, this one belongs to Victoria. This is going to be coin number 14. The San Francisco Mint was, ooh, there's another RPM. That's another one of the die that we just looked at. Let's see if we got our markers. There's a little die scratch coming off the T. What was the other die scratch? We were looking at something else. I can't remember what it was for this die. The coin looks like it's almost out of round. Let's see. Well, I don't remember what I was looking at. I'm going to use that die scratch coming off the chin. There was a die scratch somewhere, and I can't remember where it was. Oh, there it was, northeast off the T. There's one right there. Okay. I'll use that as our marker for this die because it's actually visible on this coin. That and that one coming up off the chin and one straight out from the nose. We'll use those. We're just going to go along with things, and I'll check everything very closely again after we finish the roll. But back to my story, as I was saying, the San Francisco Mint in part shut down because of the speed of their production. They couldn't produce coins near fast enough. And it was determined that it was actually more efficient for the Denver Mint to handle all of the Western coin production, because the Denver Mint could handle billets of copper to roll them out into sheets that were 400 pounds. And the machinery at the Philadelphia or the San Francisco Mint can only handle 14-pound ingots. This one goes to Wild Bill. It is a RPM. That is an RPM. This one appears to be RPM number 4, I think. It's going to be die 1 for the day. And there's your die scratch coming off the top of the T. And there should be one in front of the chin if we can get it turned in the right direction to see it. There. You can see it. It's not very bright on this coin. There should be another one coming straight out of the nose right there. Straight out from the nose. The the shutdown of the San Francisco Mint for minting regular coins didn't shut the mint down altogether. It became an assay office after that. And for a number of years, they assisted in minting some of the coins, but they did not mint coins on their own until 1968. And the reason why the coins minted in San Francisco during the mid-1960s did not have any mint marks was because they were trying to keep people from hoarding rolls of coins. Rolls and bags of coins going away was a very big problem in the early 1960s. That's why there are so many rolls of coins still in existence today from the 1960s. And a nice RPM there. It really is. I like it. You can see the split on it. If we turn it just in the right direction, you'll be able to see that split really well. There it is. There it is. You can see that split really well like that. if you think about it, 1960, actually more like 1955, 56, up through, you see that die scratch. There it is. There should be one out in front of the chin if we could get it to zoom in just right. You should be able to see a north to south die scratch right in front of the chin. It's not very visible. We're going to quit using that marker and just go to using this one, the one that runs diagonal out of the top of the T. Well, and for the most part, they managed to mess up a lot of collectors' books, price guides, and other things like that had expected mint marks on the pennies in 1940, or 1965, 1966, 1967. They didn't bring it back until 1968. 1968 was the first year Lincoln cents had mint marks on them again. And they had coins produced at all three mints. And all three mints bore the same basic type of identifier that they had in 1954. Philadelphia being plain, Denver having a D, and San Francisco having an S. The additional change that happened in 1968, I remember this die. What were we looking at on this die? Is that the... No, this one's one of the nothings, I do believe. But the big change that did occur was that the production of proof sets went from Philadelphia to San Francisco. And the main reason for that is because Philadelphia was much more equipped to produce coins for the growing economy. San Francisco was not. So the San Francisco Mint went to making the million or so collectible proof sets and special commemorative coins later on. And Philadelphia was left to making the coins for commerce that San Francisco had tried to make in the past. Evidently, that went pretty well for them because we're still doing that to this day. Yeah, you have an unfortunate thing going on there with 1966 Coin Dragon, because I know why 1966. It'd be the same reason as 1968 for me. And I got a good one going on with the coins of 1968 because they're all, really well marked, and your proof sets are San Francisco Mint, and it's all cool and everything. But if you go to baseball cards, I started off in baseball cards. That was a big thing that I did back in the day. My birth year set, of course, is 1968. And the 1968 baseball card set, it had the Nolan Ryan rookie, and it had, basically the border of the card kind of looked like a burlap sack. It was kind of gruff looking. But the 1968 Topps baseball card set, because the Kansas City Athletics were moving to Oakland, the 1968 baseball card set did not have any Kansas City cards. The Royals hadn't started. They didn't start till 69. And the A's moved in 68, so they just swapped out basically all the portraits of the players had the hats painted black, and they had Oakland put on the card, even though they were still in Kansas City. And so my birth year baseball card set was robbed of having any Kansas City cards, and I was a Kansas City fan. I was a big Royals fan, loved George Brett, all the other guys in the Royals. And it turns out that my birth year set didn't have any 1968 Kansas City player cards. The same thing with the 1966 coin sets. You only got one mint. Even though they all made coins, you only got one mint because all of them looked like Philadelphia minted coins. Had to really look at that carefully for extra thickness. It looked a little strange. But the date and the Liberty look fine, so I'm thinking not. Not anything unusual. A little stain on this coin. Big old Buffalo fan. The Sabres. Yeah, at least they spell the word right. Yeah, the people in Boston can't even say Celtics right. They pronounce it Celtics, and that's wrong. This coin's super bright. Super bright. J-O-B. A little bit of rub right up on the cheek and the jaw. Ooh, it's one of those RPMs. That's cool. You can see the split on the bottom serve really well there, too. This is another one of those RPMs. We should have a die scratch going northeast off the T of Liberty. And we do. Right there. Relatively easily visible. Let's take a look at the reverse. That's what I noticed first on this. When I first picked the coin up, the reverse was looking at me. This area right in here, I can't really show it with the scope very well, but it is absolutely proof-like. Really nice looking reverse. A lot of high luster on this one. Highest known grade for 55S, I'm pretty sure would be 67. It could be 68s, but I'm not sure. Coin Dragon, could you look that up for us? It's the highest known grade PCGS pop report for a 55S Lincoln. I think it's a 67 plus. Alright, this one's going to be an RPM again here. In fact, all of these RPMs in this particular die, they have a unusually high sheen to the reverse that I'm noticing. Very nice. 67, not plus. Job says 68. We're looking for PCGS grades. Job gets the next coin in the row. Get this back in focus. We have another RPM 2. Does appear to be another RPM number 2. And I do believe it is. We should have, what are we going to have? There we go. Ah, yeah, die crack off the B. That's right, die crack off the B and a hump below the T. So that's another RPM. We're pulling out probably more RPMs than we are not RPMs in this roll, which is good. I like that. It's one of the reasons I pick out 1955S. That plus, I would love to roll hunt find an RPM number 1. I've never found one in a roll. All the ones I've ever found, cherry picked from dealer stock. Somebody else pulled them out of the roll. I just found them and bought them. But I would love to roll hunt find RPM number 1. Laptop's having a tantrum. Sick the cat after it. Tell the cat to beat it up a little bit. Chuck Patello gets the next coin in the roll. Not seeing much there. So anyhow, that was the reason why the San Francisco Mint was shut down to minting regular circulating coins, is because it was costing the mint too much money to produce them. They just weren't producing them fast enough. And Philadelphia and Denver could better handle the coin needs of the United States than the San Francisco office could. So the San Francisco Mint turned into an assay office, and they stayed that way until mid-60s when they started minting coins again quietly with no mint marks. And they started full force again in 1968. I'm having a hard time reading those numbers, time travelers. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't believe there is a 68. Let's just put it that way. I don't believe it exists. Okay, this is Chuck Patilla's coin, and I can't remember whether I saw an RPM on this or not. I don't believe I did, but I'm going to slide it under here and look at it one more time. Okay, no, this does not have an RPM. We're going to set this off to the side with the other non-RPM coins. PCGS shows 1 in 68. Huh. Well, that would be a high dollar coin. Robert Adams. Robert Adams gets... It's not an RPM. Not an RPM. Not a double die. And nothing on the reverse. I plop this one in the holder and move on to the next coin. It sold on Heritage in 2002 for $7,000. Yeah. If it is a PCGS 68, and if it is a nice looking 68, if it's offered, and if it is the only one out there, if it's offered, I don't believe I would think seeing it go for any less than 10 to 15,000. 2,000's a deal. Okay, this is the first RPM in the roll. We've got our die scratch coming up off the T. And so we are going to be able to put this one to the side as an RPM for Jeremy. See if we have any markable errors on the other side here. Anything needs to be stopped, explained, discussed. We have a hit on the N in cent, and that's about it. Hey, sissy. And Jeremy gets him a normal coin, coin number 24, and on that we've been through half of the roll. We haven't actually been through half the roll yet, because coin number 25 goes to Jeremy as well. That will be half the roll. We'll see what Jeremy gets halfway through the roll. Now, halfway through the roll, he gets an RPM number 2, it appears. That would be an RPM number 2. I believe it is, and it's going to have a die crack coming off the B. And this one I do believe is a Woody. How about that, Frank? Got a nice Woody. See if we got Woody on the reverse. No, Woody only like the obverse of this coin. There's a little bit of a wood grain. A little tiny. Now we have a nice RPM number 2 here. Take a look at this one again. Actually, I bring up the scope so we can see the whole coin. There we go. Yep, it's got stripes on it. Stripes, stripes, stripes. Well, this one belongs to Jeremy, so you'll have to talk to Jeremy about it. Did you get a coin in the roll? Coin Dragon? That is a very nice one. So Jeremy's got himself an RPM number 2. This is coin number 25. We are halfway through the roll at this point. Let's take a look at the next coin in the roll for a Midnight Silver Run. Midnight Silver Run. We do have 2 1955 S rolls. The other one will be later this evening. This one also appears to be an RPM number 2. We have the same, same die crack on the B. So it is also an RPM number 2, and it also does appear to have some coloration striping. JOB, the word woody, it is because the coins appear to have a wood grain appearance, and that does come from the planchet itself. It's how the metal strip was rolled, the ingot that they roll out. Basically, they do it like biscuit dough. They roll it out, fold it, roll it out, fold it, roll it out, fold it, and it's got layers. When those layers aren't as even as they should be, you tend to run into layers that have a little bit more zinc or a little bit more tin or a little more pure copper, and you end up with a coin that has little stripes of color from the different metals throughout the surface of the coin. And we call it wood grain because it's, well, that's what it looks like. Here's another one of the bombshell RPMs for this roll. We had a split on the lower serif, and the curve, the upper left curve, I think we're talking about an RPM number 4 here. It's a really nice one. We want number 1. We want number 1. We want number 1. There's our die scratch coming up off the tee to the northeast. Oh, that's really cool, Adam. I would love to be able to talk with George Brett for a few minutes about his career. Absolutely loved watching him play baseball. Grew up watching him play baseball. From his rookie year in '73 all the way up to when he retired in '93. What do you want to see, Penny Parent? You want to see the N in cent on this? Is this the RPM that you're looking for? Let's flip it over and look at the N in which one? Cent? The N in cent. Right there. What are we looking for? Looking for it to be in focus. I know that. Let's see. Turn the light down. Let's see if there's anything on there. I don't see anything. I see maybe a little die scratch mark going east and west in the upper part of the N. Nothing on this one? Okay. We have... I'm having a hard time finding markers really to use on the reverse. But it's okay. I'll get this identified at some point or another before we ship them out. That's for sure. This is for Mr. Fletcher. There we go. That's another one of our first RPM of the roll. It's going to be die 1 on the day, we're calling it. It's probably die number 4, but we'll figure that out after the roll. This one's for Wild Bill. Let me turn the light back up so we can see what's going on again. This one's going to be a non-RPM, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this is a non-RPM. Non-RPM. We got a big die scratch coming straight up off the tee. And looking at the reverse, we have a slightly weakly struck reverse here. Slightly weakly. I like saying that. Get to beat the devil out of it. Slightly weakly. I'm being goofy. Doing my Bob Ross. My best Bob Ross. Jeremy. Jeremy will get this coin, which appears to be a normal one. Oh, so the one that I thought was RPM 2 is RPM 9? Okay. I have to make sure that listing is correct. Okay, and Jeremy gets this one. This is going to be what? A normal coin, I believe. Yeah. No RPM here. I just made him a friend. Coin number 29 is now friends with coin number 28. Because they're going to sit together until I pull these apart and get them mailed off to their new owners. Mr. Worley will get the next coin in the roll. Wild Bill's going to get one of these, and Jeremy will get the other one, so they have to do their friendly things real quickly because I'm going to be splitting them up before too long. And they're going to go to separate homes. Now we have another non-RPM that's going to be able to hold a spot in line with them real quickly. This is going to be coin number 30, and it's going to Jay Worley. So Mr. Worley is going to get the third friend out of the group. What we need is coins that have friends as RPMs. That's what we're looking for. But everybody counts. Everybody's important in the world. You just have to figure out why. Kind of like my mother said, everybody's special. You're just a different kind of special. Adam Chambers. Hey, what do we end up with here? Here's another normal coin. Another normal one. Hello, Sherry Ward. I think I remember your name is Cherie. Is it Cherie or Sherry? I need to know how to pronounce that so I can call you the right name. I don't read very well. Cherie. I'm glad I decided to use the right pronunciation the first time around. That makes me look smart. Whereas looks can be very deceiving. We all know that. But it makes me look smart for just a few minutes anyway. Okay, well, coin number 30 now has a friend, coin number 31. And they're both going to be called normal. Let's see what we got next. Adam Chambers. Let's see what Adam gets. I'm going to guess RPM. And I guessed right. This belongs to the first group of RPMs. This one's going to have the die scratch going northeast off the T, right there. No die crack off the B. And it's going to match up perfectly with coin number 27. So we're on coin number 32. 5 coins away in the roll, we get the next RPM from the die. So then there's some chance that one of them is a number 9 and the other one could be new. Is that what we're talking about here? Just tell me like it is, Doc. I think it's a nice RPM. I don't know whether or not it's listed yet, but I know it's a nice one. So if it's not listed, it's gonna be. Because I can. That's right. I have the power. Jeremy. What does Jeremy get? Whoa, look at that. That's a pretty one right there. It's exactly how I stuck it under the scope. It just perfectly works out nice. That's that same RPM though. It's the same RPM. You just see this one a lot better. And if I flip up to the T in Liberty, you'll see that die scratch right there. It is a nice roll. Did work out to be a very nice roll, like this. Love it, love it, love it. King and Queen stacking. I was looking at a coin when you came through the door. I'm glad you're here to share this moment with us. Coin number 33 will join coin number 32. And JOB will get the next coin in the roll. Let's see what JOB gets to take home. Not seeing anything on this particular coin yet. Let's take a look for the eyelid. Let's take a look for a doubling in the motto and the legend. Anything, anywhere. It's a later dice date coin. And it doesn't appear to have anything special going on. Give us any special need to discuss it further. So, I'll put this one in a holder. Let it make friends with coin number 31 in the normal coin stack. And we'll move on to the next one. It's kind of neat when you think of how many of these coins were minted. Yeah, 44 million coins. That's another one of that same later die. It's die number 2 on the day here. It's an S over S East. There were 44.6 million coins minted in San Francisco in Lincoln cents minted in San Francisco, 1955. At that point in time, I doubt that the entire state of California and New York put together had 44 million people in them. But nonetheless, it's still one of the lowest mintage late wheat cents. Sorry about that. Out there. Because every year, mintage climbed just a little bit. Until 1953, there were like 180 million coins minted in San Francisco. And then 54, the very next year, there were only about 96 million minted. And then 1955 comes along. By the time the month, by the time the year was 2.5 months out, they decided, yeah, we're kind of done. Let's move all production to Philadelphia and Denver. Let Denver take over the West Coast production. And, yeah, we'll just turn San Francisco into an assay office and just keep people working there, weighing ingots of metal or whatever they do. I think they're painting pictures of happy clouds and trees with squirrels in them. That's what I think they were doing. Nothing on this one. I don't remember having seen a deal like that. Time Traveler. Don't remember it. What did I say this was? Said this is normal, wasn't it? And get it in focus. I'll have to take a good look at it again. I'm losing my focus here. Talking about other things. Alright, this is a normal one. That's coin number 36. Going to be a normal coin forward. Mr. Worley. I'll move on to coin number 37. Chris Vines. Coin number 37 will be for Chris Vines. Get the light on it just right and get it back in focus. And we'll take a look at the mint mark. We have another RPM. This one is the East RPM, or die 2 for the day. It's going to have a die crack coming off the southwest corner of the Bee of Liberty. Boom, right there. Die crack off the southwest corner of the Bee of Liberty. So we have ourselves another example of die 2 for the day. Carabelle. A public service announcement from Coppercoins. Later this evening at 8 p.m., 2 hours from this very moment, we will have another roll opening this evening. And the roll opening that we will have later this evening will be another 1955S roll, where we will be seeking other examples of what we've already found and or new examples of different things. We're opening a roll that came from a different bank altogether. That will be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 hours from now. And then we have, what do we have? 27, 28. Today's the 27th. Tomorrow, the 28th, we're going to have 2 roll openings. And then Sunday, we're going to have 1. And then Monday, we'll have 2. So if you guys like watching these things, make sure you stop by at those times. I'll announce the time of the next one every time that I do one of these. So keep you a good chain of continuity going. Or you could just look in the future videos of the channel. Hey, there's another one right there. Another East RPM right there. And for the people who are just joining us, we're going to zoom in and take a look at this one because, you know, sometimes you kind of lose focus. What is that on the coin? It's a little fiber trying to stand up and it keeps blowing over. How interesting. Huh. Weird. Okay, let me just zoom in on this mint mark here. Show everybody exactly what we're seeing. You can see an extra curve on the inside of the upper part of the mint mark, and you can see an extra upper serif. You came in and got lost in the story of the ingots painting happy clouds, the S-Mint. No, I haven't really ever done like books on tape or any of that. Haven't really thought about it. You probably come to listen just to fall asleep, right? Is that what it is? Okay, we got another RPM 2 on the day for Chuck Patillo. The happy fiber is a bonus. There you go. I like that. That's good. Okay. I only do it this way for the stream. I have a microscope that I use normally that's not a digital microscope. It actually has stereo eyepieces. This is going to be RPM 1 on the day. This one's going to have the die scratch going northeast off the T right there. Generally, when I go through a roll of coins and I'm looking for double dies, repunch, mint marks, any of that, I can start and finish a roll inside of 3 minutes. Doing it this way takes me an hour or more because I'm talking about it as I'm doing it. I'm not just, if I'm just looking at it for myself, I'm doing this and I'm just moving on. And I don't want to do that to you guys because I want to give you a chance to take a look at it too. And so I'm slowing down for the effect of being able to allow more people to take a good look at the coin and get more of the feeling of the markers that are on the coin and everything else. Andrew O'Neill will take coin number 40, which is another RPM. This is the East RPM again. You can see the split in the lower serif there now. You can see the split in the lower serif, the upper serif. And this one's going to have the die break off the B, the die crack off the B right there. This one's going to be for Mr. O'Neill. The girls have the dog barking down there, playing with the dog. They got him barking. So if you hear anything that sounds like, you know, chickens being tortured, it's the girls. So if it's RPM number 9, that would be really nice. Hello, Sindelicious. All right, next one up is for Chris Vines. Could that be another RPM? Kind of wondering. This is the second time I've noticed one that actually had a split running across the top of the mint mark. I'm not sure if that's machine doubling yet, or if it's actually repunching. See, now I don't see it at all, which tells me that I was probably seeing some sort of machine doubling. Yeah, that's what it is. So it's a flange. The mint mark actually got scraped on the top and lifted. So it's kind of like if you imagine taking a knife on top of butter and you set it on top of the butter and you pull the knife straight up, you get this peak. That's what you're seeing across the top curve of that S right there, where the die came out and kind of pulled on the metal. Flanger. That's right. 'Tis a flanger of metal. All right, my dog's up here. He's in the bathroom next door, drinking. Not from the toilet. He has a bowl in there. He goes and he drinks a half a bowl of water every time he goes in there and drinks. Like a full half bowl. Like, what do you need a half bowl of water for at one time? Why don't you drink a little bit more often? He doesn't get that, though. So if anybody ever gets little white hairs with their coins, that's Sherman saying hi. They're free. You're welcome. Robert Adams. Well, look at that. We got another one. This one looks like it has a little die crack coming off the one, perhaps. Maybe? No, that's not a die crack. Coloration around it tells me it's some sort of a fiber or something setting on the coin. But there's our little die crack coming off the B. So that's our little marker for this die. That's right. You get souvenirs. There is absolutely no way I can clean all the hair out of this place. That dog loses hair like you would never believe. In a short-haired dog that basically just lays around and does nothing, I can sweep up a cup of his hair every week. So I sweep every day. That just takes up time. All right, so Robert Adams got himself one of the RPMs that we now believe is RPM number 9. It's 1mm009 if you want to go take a look at it. Victoria. Victoria gets the next coin in the roll. And that one's going to be a normal That's the real close punch mint mark. And it doesn't happen to have any doubling in it. that we've been able to see. We've also got the die scratch going straight north off the RT. This is a previewed die. We know what's on this one because we've seen it before. Die crack, or little die chip on the corner of the T. There's another one of the minor markers for this one. I believe we had a little die chip outside the U of United. There we go. Right there on the wheat greens. That's pretty well known. Sorry, Victoria, we got you a nice coin, but it's a normal coin. All right. We're down to the last few coins in the roll. This one's for Victoria as well. Victoria gets this one, and what is it? Well, it's an RPM, I think. Wait. No celebration yet. Don't celebrate yet. No celebration yet. No, it's not an RPM. Thought maybe I had seen an RPM, but twist it around and look at it, look at it, look at it, and I find out, well, no, it's not. Not what I thought it was. So we're looking for anything else on the coin to make it of value. It's got a very late dice date reverse. Is this? This is the same die we just saw, I think. Unfortunately. All right, Victoria. You want that one for you, too. They can make friends together. They're right next to each other now. They were minted together. Taco John. Taco John gets coin number 45. Let's take a look and see what's on his coin. Yeah. We also do not appear to have an RPM here. Nope, this one's got the die scratch running southwest off the T. We've seen this die before. What is that over there? Is that a little... Hard to tell if that's indented or raised. Either way, it looks like it was minted that way. That does not look like damage on the coin. Okay, you can see a raised little flanges again on the top of the fives. That's not doubling. That's actually my light coming from underneath, going upward, and it's lighting up those little parts of the five that are standing up higher because the die lifted up off the five and threw the metal upward as it was separating from the coin. I recognize this. We've seen this before. Just kind of cursorily go over real quickly on the reverse to make sure that we don't have any major errors. Something that should be discussed, like a major die break or a drop through letter or any of that kind of stuff. And move on to coin number 46. Oh, looky there. Taco John gets the wrapper. So let me throw Taco John's name on the card. And for those of you who are new to this process, we do make a little card for the wrappers when we have a wrapper to give. And we put the little card on the inside of the wrapper with the person's name, and then later I'll go through and I'll pull out all the wrappers, straighten them out, and get them into protective sleeves and mail those wrappers to the people who won the wrapper. Now, are they worth anything? Maybe not so much monetarily, but they are cute and they're interesting and they're fun to have. If anybody should decide to start collecting wrappers, well, you got a few. So, I have been doing this for so long that if I had saved all the wrappers, I'd have 100 pounds of them. There's an interesting little thing going on with this one. Looks like a form of color error. Huh. Strange. There's a little bit of a color error going on. I've seen this before because I've seen that damage. That's die damage. There. Curious, I picked a few rolls of mint cello 1957-58 wheat cents. If already picked over, what would you guess the rest of the coins might grade, and what does the cello damage look like? Now look down below. It says, oh, proof cellos. So they are proof. Generally, the damage that you're going to see on the coins is going to be haze. Haze and or spots that'll turn a little dark. They don't affect the grade of the coin so much up to about a 64, 65. Beyond that, you have to have a lot cleaner surfaces. To get a 67, 68 grade, which is what most of your better grade coins run, they don't fare very well in the celloplastic. But the damage that you're going to see from the celloplastic is going to look like little fleck spots all over the place on the coins. Well, this one has a little die crack running off the B, but it doesn't have any doubling on the mint mark. That's different. That's a common weak point in the design. You guys all see this big liver spot he's got all over his head? That is grease that was stuck up inside the die. Grease and muck of other sorts. And instead of striking the nice satiny surface of the die onto the coin, it struck through that grease, and this is what you're left with. And I've seen a few cases of this. It looks sort of like wear, but it's not. Yes, yeah, proof 64 to 66 probably. Hey, Starbuck. Merry Christmas to you. I don't believe I've seen you around in the last week or so. I hope everything's gone okay for you. Mint State Numismatics in here too. How are you? Not seeing anything on this one that's going to have us discussing it very much further. So Wild Bill gets what's a relatively normal coin. For the time being, it can be friends with coin number 46 before it goes to Midnight's house. Well, let's see what we've got here. Adam Chambers. Next coin in the roll goes to Adam Chambers. And what do we have? Looks normal. Wow, this is weird. First 2/3 of the roll were just chock full of RPMs. Now we're having trouble finding one. If we get down here to the last part of the roll. Ooh, there's some pretty heavy machine doubling going on there. It's machine damage. That gives you a really good idea of what it looks like when the die scrapes the coin off and it hasn't separated from the design yet. That's eject doubling or eject damage. That'll be coin number 48 for the roll, Adam Chambers. Normal coin. Coin number 49 and 50. Coin number 49 will go to Mr. Fletcher. Coin number 50, I'm having trouble finding it here. There we go. Coin number 50 will go to Mr. Adams. So Mr. Fletcher will get coin number 49. That's this one right here. And it is not an RPM. This is, oddly enough, this is one of those ones that shows the strange die scratch markers that we found a couple of in the very beginning of the roll, but none since. It's got a lot of little pit marks around the S mint mark, but nothing else. There's no doubling on the coin. It's not really an error per se. does have some toning on this one. A little bit of color on this one here. But nothing else. Oh, we do have a little bit of striping on it. A little bit of wood grain going on here. Not much. Just a little bit. Cello damage could affect the grade, but I don't think it's going to kill the grade. When you're talking about a genuine grade, you're talking about a coin that's been damaged beyond an ability to grade the coin. Oh, look at that. There we go. Well, nice for the last coin in the roller. We get one of the RPMs. This is the RPM 2 on the day. Probably, very probable, that it's RPM number 9. Ooh. This is wheel damage. This is actually wheel damage. This is from the counting machine. It has very heavily abraded parts of the coin, and then other parts of the coin were not abraded at all. And this is what it looks like when you find wheel damage. I hope CMUS Omaha's around to see this. This is what wheel marks look like. That is unfortunate. The coin is damaged. It's mint damaged, but it's still damaged. Not, well, maybe not mint damage. It could be damaged by the bank that rolled them. This is the end coin. And so it could be that oftentimes what happens, this could be coin number 1 in the roll, actually, the first coin that went in, because what happens with the old counting rolling machines is they will count out 50 coins, and then it will sit, and it will just sit and spin on top of the next coin until you hit the lever to make the next 50 coins spit out. And often what happens is that one coin sits there, and it gets that rubber wheel just spinning over it. And if they've got it adjusted too tightly, it spins and it actually brushes the coin, and that's what this looks like. And then they hit the lever, and this coin and the other 49 spit out, and then it sits and waits on the next one, and then it spins on that one. So this is the only one that we've had any damage like this on in the roll. Which lays credence to my theory that this was actually the first coin put into the roll. Try to get this in some sort of focus. We can turn it around. There's your wheel damage. It brushes up against the coin and basically removes the outer surface of the coin, puts a lot of very fine scratches in one direction on the coin. So I hate that happened to an RPM. I hate that it happened to a coin in this roll, but it's a good educational piece. It's otherwise a very, very nice coin. There's a few fibers laying on the coin, but other than that wheel damage, there's not hardly anything on this coin to mess it up. Yep, so there's only 2 different varieties that we know of in this roll so far. I'll get everything straight here. I'll put this in its holder. Oh, I'm going to flip it over and take a look at the other side. The other side is actually the side that was exposed. This was probably laying on the cardboard that was at the butt end of the roll. And you can see that we have a lot of striped color in here. This was probably laying up against cardboard for a number of decades. And that, folks, is the last coin in this roll. And I have a full day today, so I'm going to have to take off and go do dinner and then come back and get ready for the next reveal. That'll be happening in about an hour and a half. So here's our normal coins for the roll. We've got probably about 30, roughly 30, because there's roughly 20 coins that are die varieties. Let's count them and see. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of die 1 on the day. There's 10 of those. And die 2 on the day. 11. So I was pretty close. There's 29 coins in this pile. 29 there, 10 there, 11 there, and we're done. All right, folks, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys being here. We will wrap it up for now, and I will be back on with another 1955S roll at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be an hour and a half from now. Who got RPMs? Let's see. Mr. Worley, Mr. McBride, Fletcher, J.O.B., Jeremy, Chris Vines, Chuck Patillo, Andrew O'Neill, Robert Adams, Midnight, Victoria, Wild Bill, and the rest of them are the same people getting RPMs over again. So probably 2/3 at least of the people who purchased into this roll end up with RPMs. RPMs for 1955S, generally between $8 and $15 a piece, depending on their grade in red uncirculated condition. So we've done pretty well. All right, folks, we'll see you in about an hour and a half after I finish my dinner and get back on the saddle. Until then, I want everybody to go in peace and have fun. So let me find my stream here. I think I shut the window down where I control my stream. That won't end. I'll shut it down here in a second. You guys be well, and I'll talk to you later.